Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's update takes us to the tense front lines between Ukraine and Belarus, where reports are emerging that the Belarusian army has suffered significant losses after a massive Ukrainian counterstrike. This development could mark a turning point in the ongoing regional conflict and reshape the power dynamics of Eastern Europe. The situation has shocked analysts and even some of Belarus's allies, as the once confident military push appears to have stalled under Ukraine's strong and unexpected resistance. According to multiple field reports, Belarusian troops had recently joined a joint offensive effort near the northern border regions. The plan was to assist Russian forces by opening a secondary front, forcing Ukraine to stretch its defensive lines and divert resources away from the southern and eastern battlefields. Initially, the move seemed to catch Ukraine off guard. Belarusian armored units and artillery divisions advanced quickly, supported by logistical networks established over months of preparation. But what appeared to be an early success soon turned into a costly mistake. Ukrainian intelligence had reportedly been monitoring the buildup for weeks. Using satellite imagery, drone reconnaissance, and intercepted communications, Kyiv's military command identified Belarusian positions with remarkable accuracy. As Belarusian forces pushed forward, Ukraine's counteroffensive began with precision drone strikes and long-range artillery that targeted supply convoys, command posts, and communication hubs. Within hours, reports of heavy damage began to emerge from the Belarusian lines. Vehicles were abandoned, soldiers retreated in disarray, and morale dropped rapidly. Military. Experts believe that Ukraine's advantage lies not just in Western-supplied technology, but in the experience its forces have gained over more than 2 years of continuous fighting. The Ukrainian army has become adept at rapid response tactics, mobile defense, and decentralized command, strategies that allow field commanders to adapt instantly to changing situations. In contrast, the Belarusian military, though well-equipped on paper, lacks real combat experience. For many of its soldiers, this was their first exposure to modern warfare. That difference became painfully clear as the counterstrike unfolded. The Ukrainian counterattack was described as swift, coordinated, and relentless. Drones destroyed ammunition depots, electronic warfare units jammed Belarusian communications, and small but highly mobile Ukrainian infantry teams encircled key enemy positions. Eyewitnesses reported that entire units were cut off from their command structure, forced to surrender or scatter into nearby forests. By the end of the operation, the Belarusian army had reportedly lost dozens of armored vehicles and suffered severe casualties, with hundreds of soldiers captured or missing. Kyiv's leadership was quick to highlight the success. In an official statement, Ukrainian defense officials said the operation was a decisive response to aggression from the north. They emphasized that Ukraine does not seek conflict with Belarus but will defend its sovereignty against any foreign incursion. The statement also hinted that this victory serves as a warning to any other country considering joining the fight against Ukraine. It reinforced the message that Ukraine remains capable, organized, and fully prepared to defend its borders. Meanwhile, the news has triggered serious political fallout in Minsk. Inside Belarus, government officials are scrambling to manage public perception. State media initially downplayed the losses, referring to the event as a tactical withdrawal. But as videos and photos began circulating online showing destroyed Belarusian equipment and captured soldiers, the narrative began to crumble. Independent journalists and foreign analysts have confirmed that the scale of the defeat is far greater than what Belarusian authorities admit. For President Alexander Lukashenko, this is a nightmare scenario. His decision to allow Belarusian forces to participate directly in the conflict was already controversial among the public. Now, after such heavy losses, his position appears increasingly fragile. Protests, though small and heavily suppressed, have reportedly started to emerge in several cities, with citizens demanding that Belarus withdraw completely from the war. Lukashenko's government is trying to maintain control, but the political and emotional cost of the failed offensive is becoming impossible to hide. Russia, Belarus's main ally, is also watching closely. The Kremlin had hoped that Belarus's involvement would ease pressure on Russian forces and possibly open a new pathway toward Kyiv. Instead, the failure of the Belarusian army has created more problems for Moscow. Russian generals are now forced to reconsider their strategy, as their northern front has not only failed to advance, but has become another area requiring support and resources. Kremlin insiders are reportedly frustrated, blaming Belarusian commanders for poor execution and lack of discipline, while Belarusian officers privately complain that Russia pushed them into an unwinnable operation. On the Ukrainian side, morale has soared. Soldiers and civilians alike see this as a symbol of strength and unity. Social media across Ukraine is filled with celebratory messages praising the army's resilience and precision. Videos of Ukrainian drone strikes and successful counterattacks have gone viral, boosting national confidence. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has commended the troops, stating that every inch of Ukrainian land will be defended with courage and intelligence. He emphasized that the counterstrike was not an act of escalation, but a necessary measure to protect the country from further aggression international. Reactions have been swift as well. NATO and European Union officials praised Ukraine's defensive success while expressing concern about Belarus's decision to involve itself militarily. Western analysts warn that Belarus could now face increased sanctions and diplomatic isolation, further straining an already weak economy. Some experts argue that Lukashenko's gamble has backfired completely, leaving his country vulnerable both politically and economically. In military terms, the losses suffered by the Belarusian army may have long-lasting effects. Analysts suggest that it will take months, if not years, for Belarus to recover from the material and psychological damage. The destruction of vehicles, the loss of trained personnel, and the blow to morale have weakened its ability to operate independently. Moreover, the defeat may deter further participation in joint operations with Russia, as Belarusian commanders become increasingly wary of being used as expendable allies in a war that most of their citizens never wanted. For Ukraine, this moment represents both a tactical and symbolic victory. The successful counterstrike proves that its defense forces remain agile, intelligent, and capable of striking back effectively even under immense pressure. It also sends a strong message to the world. Ukraine is not only surviving, it is adapting and winning crucial battles that shape the future of the conflict. As the dust settles, the region stands at a crossroads. Will Belarus double down under Russian pressure, or will Lukashenko seek a way to step back from the edge? Much depends on how his regime manages the aftermath of this defeat and whether the public's patience holds. One thing is certain: the illusion of an easy victory has vanished. Ukraine's counterstrike has turned the tide, and the geopolitical consequences will echo far beyond the battlefield. The next few weeks will be critical. If Ukraine continues to consolidate its gains, it could shift the balance of power permanently. Meanwhile, Belarus faces growing uncertainty, politically, militarily, and socially. Its leadership must now decide whether to risk deeper involvement or begin searching for a path toward de-escalation. Whatever happens next, this moment will be remembered as a pivotal chapter in the modern history of Eastern Europe, when a smaller but determined nation once again defied the odds and reminded the world that courage and strategy can overcome even the most powerful adversaries. If you found this analysis insightful, don't forget to like the video, share it with others who follow global news, and subscribe to the channel for more updates on the ongoing developments between Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia. This conflict continues to evolve every day, and we'll be here to keep you informed with accurate, unbiased coverage of what happens next.